Hey, what's up, guys? It's Count Chocula, and welcome to episode 2 of When Comics Didn't Suck. In this video series, I have some fun taking a nostalgic look back at some of the classic comics that I enjoyed as a kid. I'm going to be doing Earth's Mightiest Heroes, The Avengers, issue 165. This is the second part of a 3-part story arc, Nefaria Supreme. If you want to get caught up to speed on what's happening in the story so far, I will have a link in the description down below to my episode 1 where I cover issue 164. Looking at the cover of this issue, once again, the artwork is done by George Perez. That's emphasis on the first E. I guess all these years I've been pronouncing his name wrong. I've been pronouncing it George Perez, but it's actually George Perez. So that's kind of a side note there. I don't really even know why that matters. Maybe somebody would take offense to that. No offense was meant when I was mispronouncing his name. So let's get right into it. The issue is titled Hammer of Vengeance. So the Lethal Legion lies defeated on the street near Avengers Mansion, but the Avengers' true battle for survival has just begun. The Avengers are kind of shocked here. As you can see, Captain America and Black Panther being swatted away. And right here, the Beast has some history with Count Nefaria. The Beast, of course, used to be with the X-Men. He says, I thought you were dead. I thought you were killed in the same blast that wiped out Thunderbird. Now, Thunderbird was one of the new X-Men, going back to X-Men number 94. Now, Nefaria had a little tangle with the X-Men, and unfortunately, Thunderbird was killed trying to stop Nefaria. So this is what the Beast is referring to, and that happened in issue number 95 of the X-Men. He says, or else I'd been hunting you down ever since, alongside every other mutant who ever called himself an X-Man. So we normally aren't used to seeing Beast furious like that. Normally he's more of a philosopher and a jokester, but in this case, Nefaria is just like, what? Oh, yes, that incident. Luckily, I had arranged to be teleported to safety in the event of disaster. In the same manner, my henchmen were teleported into Valhalla Mountain. Apparently, your friend was less fortunate. I have little use for mutant scum anyway, as he swats Beast away easily. Just kind of highlights the arrogance of Count Nefaria. The Avengers, Scarlet Witch in this case, she's kind of shocked. She doesn't understand where Nefaria got this power to be able to brush Avengers aside like this. Normally, Count Nefaria is the financier behind supervillains. He's not actually doing the combat himself. So, as Agatha Harkness taught me, I must focus my hex, command the living elements to obey my will, lash out at my enemy. I, too, am a mutant scum, Nefaria, and worse, I am a witch, the Scarlet Witch, who will not stand idle in the presence of a murderer, human or not. Count Nefaria now has laser beam vision because he siphoned off the power of the living laser. Such spirit and beauty, were you human, I would be tempted to keep you. It will be a pity when my laser beams melt through your stone missile and disfigure you. So here comes Yellow Jacket in for an attack, full power, double disruptor blast, point blank. At this range, even Thor would be momentarily stunned. Speaking of Thor, where is Thor? Maybe later on we will find out. Yellow Jacket, you're no more nuisance to me than any other insect. So again, Count Nefaria, best known for his arrogance. And Yellow Jacket wasn't prepared for the speed that he's gotten from the siphoned off abilities of Whirlwind. But here comes Wonder Man coming in. Now, Wonder Man, on a side note here, Wonder Man is also created basically by the same way Count Nefaria has been created. And they'll cover that later on in this issue. So Yellow Jacket says, watch it, Wonder Man. He's stronger than you think. He doesn't know what he's in for. I hope he doesn't freeze up like he did against Power Man. That was in the previous issue. You're tough, but that just means I can swing hard. And I'm a guy who once laid out Thor, going all the way back to Avengers number 9 when Wonder Man, he isn't like a super well-known character, but he was actually created by a scientist of Baron Zemo to destroy the Avengers. I'm new at the hero business. I don't know what to do like all the others. I don't know what to do all the time like all the others. I even get scared because I know what it's like to die, and I'm not used to throwing my life on the line every few minutes. But now it looks like it's up to me to stop you, and I'm going to, Mister, come hell or high water. That sounds more like something Captain Kirk would say or something. Just ignore that last comment. I'm sorry. So Wonder Man's shocked when Nefaria is starting to get up. He goes, of course, like you, I'm inexperienced and wasn't prepared for your power. This time I will be ready. So Nefaria braces himself this time, and as you can see, Wonder Man shocked when Nefaria just stands there and absorbs the full impact of his blow. And I know what this next panel is. This next panel is just kind of sums up why I love old comic books. Right here is just an epic panel by John Byrne, Nefaria's blasting Wonder Man through Avengers Mansion. As you can see, he probably went through like 3 steel reinforced walls there. Just going through the mansion like an absolute missile. And this character on the side there is Jarvis. We'll get into Jarvis a little bit. It says Mr. Williams. Wonder Man's true identity is Simon Williams. Mr. Williams, sir, you all right? I wish I weren't, then I wouldn't have to go back out there. Sir, what can I do? Get us some help, any help if you can get it, and check the power. I may have damaged the house systems on the way in. Yes, the power. Oh my, the vision. Now, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Jarvis was actually made into an artificial intelligence, kind of a computer software program that kind of runs Tony Stark's Malibu house, where he has his laboratory or whatever you want to call it, kind of his workshop down in the sub level. But in the comic books, Jarvis was actually a butler. So, and I in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Jarvis's AI becomes the Vision, which we know that's not in accordance to the actual Marvel storyline. But so seconds later, my goodness, the lights are out in here. At least the restorative tank wasn't shattered by the shock of Mr. Williams' rather sudden entrance. Everything appears the same as it has been since the day Dr. Pym returned after recovering from his ordeal with Ultron. And this happened issues 161, 162. And I guess the Vision was... the Ultron hit him with the encephalo beam, which is basically like a coma ray. There's another Avengers supervillain that uses that same kind of technology, the Grim Reaper, who happens to be Wonder Man's brother. So, yeah, it gets kind of complicated. So, he says, with Ultron to help Mr. Stark build this device to heal the Vision. So, the Vision was basically put in a coma, even though the Vision isn't actually an android in the Avengers comic books. He's referred to as a synthezoid, where he does have some human characteristics. He has like human brain engrams impressed on his circuitry. So his brain is almost a little. It's kind of a hybrid between computer circuitry and like human synapses. So Jarvis activates the reserve power, and he says. Dr. Pym said he hadn't a clue as to how long it would take to regenerate the Vision's android metabolism, but I give my right arm to see him rise out of there right now. Well, at any rate, the equipment is functioning again. If you could only hear me, sir. They need you. They need your help. Oh, dear me. So back to the battle here. Scarlet Witch is still keeping Nefaria somewhat busy. And this is kind of some teamwork here between Captain America and the Beast. They're going to try to hit Nefaria with the shield while his back's turned. But Nefaria, with his heightened super speed, he says, Captain America's shield. You are a fool to relinquish it, for I am fast enough to pick it out of the air. and I have dreamed of the day I could crumple it in my hands like foil. I love this next panel here. Um, Nefaria, like some other villains, they really don't know what they're dealing with Captain America's shield. Says the shield resists my new strength. I don't understand this mere scrap of metal. Can it be I'm not as invincible as Professor Sturdy claimed? Professor Kenneth Sturdy is the main scientist that created the device that has given Count Nefaria his abilities. But he's starting to doubt himself, because he can't crumble Captain America's shield. Now, kind of a side note about Captain America's shield. Originally, we all know that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if you follow the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that Captain America's shield is claimed to be made out of vibranium. Well, that wasn't the case in the early days of Marvel. They didn't specify exactly what Captain America's shield was made out of. They just said it was some sort of near indestructible alloy. But later on, they had like a retro story of the origin of Captain America's shield, where it was created from the vibranium that is from Black Panther's home kingdom of Wakanda. But growing up reading Marvel comics, they never said what Captain America's shield was made out of. But I mean, it wasn't adamantium. I knew that adamantium is like the fictional metal in the Marvel universe that's the most indestructible. But they, like I said, they never actually specified what his shield was made out of. So I thought it was kind of cool that they made it out of vibranium when I first started seeing the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Captain America, when they actually Howard Stark actually created the shield. So it's kind of a side note there. Said that greedy fool swore that Project N would give me strength without limit. Yes, this cursed shield defies. He goes, what matter? I know my power is supreme. I can feel it. And he just tosses the shield aside, and it takes out Black Panther. And Black Panther is one of the most agile characters in the Marvel Universe. So, Count Nefaria is really packing some power if he can fling the shield so blindingly fast that Black Panther can't get out of the way. So Nefaria here showing a feat of strength, kind of showing off his new abilities. They're regrouping, probably planning another attack. Idiots that they are. So he starts lifting up the foundation of a building. All the better for me to destroy them in a single strike. My God, he's toppling a 40-story building on top of us. Run, everyone, run. It covers the whole street. There's no place to dodge. So if you're wondering how Wonder Man is flying there, Wonder Man has some jet propulsion similar to Tony Stark's Iron Man's technology. He has a jet belt that allows him to fly for like short distances and everything. Says Cap, I can't hold it. If I push any harder, the whole thing will crumble. Beast, Yellow Jacket, move out, get out of here. Only you two have the speed to make it. Couldn't make it carrying anyone, Cap, and I hate to travel alone. So the entire 40-story building, the foundation crumbles, and it basically comes down on top of those Avengers there. They're dead. None of them escaped. Not necessarily. And he said they're dead. So as you can see, it says several blocks away, where riot police maintain a hastily erected cordon around the battle site. And we see kind of a mysterious figure here. Said, if the Avengers are so tough, why don't they squash that creep? Maybe because the creep isn't a lightweight either, clown. He says, excuse me, one side, please. And at the time, no one knows who this character is, but he's showing off an identification badge. It said, hold it, jerk. Where do you think you're going? Anywhere I please, Sergeant. My ID. Oh, yes, sir. So we know right here this character is of somewhat importance. The gaunt figure strides purposely into the battle zone. Now, it turns out that this is Agent Peter Gyrich, I believe that's how you pronounce that. And this is kind of a foreshadowing of some storylines in the Avengers that will last quite a while down the road. It'll be another year before we in the actual comic book timeline or so before we see what this character is all about. But this is kind of a precursor to some of the newer modern storylines when it comes to the Avengers, especially the Captain America Civil War movie, where they have to, the government wants to basically step in and take control of the Avengers. And this is what this character here is representing. This guy is basically a SHIELD agent, and he's going to be trying to take government control of the Avengers. And this happens. This starts happening more frequently during the Avengers storylines in the years to come. So that's kind of an interesting little foreshadowing of events to come. And we're talking about this is back in 1977. So a lot of the Civil War storylines that they're taking nowadays, they're taking from some of the old past classic comic books. So enough of that. Let's get back to the main storyline. So we see Nefaria is walking away here. He thinks those Avengers are dead, and he casually just jaunts into a bank and rips the vault door right off the hinges. He says, "I can sink my fingers into solid steel. Everything in the world may as well be made of tissue paper. Paper, like this paper. To think I once had need of this scrap. What a joke, that in exchange for a stack of these bills, Sturdy gave me world-crushing might." So Nefaria, he's going to take a little hostage here. He's going to take, you can see bell-bottom jeans or bell-bottom pants. I don't know if they're jeans or not, but kind of the sign of the times back in the late 70s there. She says, "Put me down. You're flying." He goes, "I can leap miles, little one. This is but a trifling sample of the power I possess. Power gained through a masterpiece of treachery. Stop struggling. I'm not going to harm you. Listen." The irony was delicious. While my scientists supposedly were merely increasing the power of my super lackeys, they were also analyzing their cell structures, creating energy templates, which were used to imbue my body with like powers, but stronger, 100 times stronger. And here is the Wizard. We saw a glimpse of the Wizard, who is actually a retired superhero from like the 1940s, 1950s era. And it's actually Bob Frank. And he's the father of the adopting father of the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff. So the Wizard, don't bother me, old man. You'll pay for abducting this girl, Nefaria. If it's true, as I've heard, that you've slain the Avengers, if indeed you've killed my daughter Wanda, then I swear I won't rest until you're dead. Oh, I remember as a kid I was always confused about this because I had always heard that that Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, was the daughter of Magneto. So they kind of confused the storyline a little bit. You move quickly, old goat, but I possess the blazing speed of the whirlwind multiplied 100-fold, and I don't have to spin to employ it. I assure you that your daughter is dead, but if it comforts you, the other lass you so quaintly fear for is escaping. She's no concern to me. There are thousands like her. So here you can see Nefaria is holding the Wizard over the building top. He goes, my life is behind me, Nefaria. It doesn't matter how much if you kill me. Just as it doesn't matter what else you do. Go ahead. Use your power. Conquer the world if you can. How old are you, Nefaria? 50? More? You're past your prime. Now, this is kind of a turning point, which is going to lead to a twist in this storyline. So, as you can see the look on Nefaria's face, he didn't take that into account. He's still aging, and he's still mortal. So you've acquired your strength just in time to watch it fade with the dregs of your youth. In 20, maybe 30 years, you'll be dead, and the world will be rid of you. Count Nefaria will be a nightmare that was ended. Another Hitler scarring the pages of history. So Nefaria, this is something he didn't think about. He goes, I give you your life, wizard, for you have given me my power a purpose. You've given my power a purpose. He goes, I won't let it happen. I must never grow old and die. Okay, we're flashing back here a little bit to Nefaria's brownstone apartment here. As you can see, the Rolls Royce is parked out front. And you see his laboratory is in shambles, where Professor Kenneth Sturdy crawls painfully from the twisted wreckage of his creation. A machine has his employer called Project N. He says, Nefaria, you fool. We're finally seeing Iron Man into action here. He said, I should have been here. I'm the chairman, the leader. My place was here, leading the Avengers into battle, not wrestling with my personal problems. Now, the personal problems he's talking about is the famous Demon in the Bottle storyline from the actual Iron Man comic, where Tony Stark is battling alcoholism. Kind of a controversial subject in comic books back then in this day. So better to have died with them than to be the one left to unearth their mangled bodies. To see current issues of Iron Man. So yeah, Iron Man, Tony Stark, he's got his own issues going on. Keep in mind that some of the current Avengers do not realize that Iron Man and Tony Stark are one and the same. Have to risk blasting away the top layers of debris with my repulsors. Can't afford the extra seconds it would take to dig through. There's a chance Wonder Man could survive being buried if only he hasn't been crushed to death. And maybe Yellow Jacket found safety in some tiny crevice. As you can see, the Avengers aren't dead. We were wondering when you'd show up. YJ and Wanda managed to blast out this foxhole for us. And we've been holding the rubble up over our heads like a roof. I should have tried to shove it away, but was afraid it might cave in if I moved. Good thing Wendy never ever seems to tire. So back at Avengers Mansion. Well, all of you did your part. Now it's my turn to take a stab. What? Sprained arm or not, you're not leaving me behind, pal. This is a team. Is it Wonder Jacket? The fuck? What? Sprained arm or not, you're not leaving me behind, pal. This is a team. Is it Yellow Jacket? I wondered. Look, you guys have been through the ringer. All I want to do is, I was going through ringers while you're still in iron short pants, Tin Man. I don't need you protecting me. Nor do I, Iron Man. Cap is right. We fight together. We'll follow you through the gates of hell, but you've got to lead us. Lead us, Iron Man, or step down. So at that moment, you hear the crash. Wonder who that could be. Somehow I never really believed I had slain you, Avengers. Bah, I am here seeking Thor. Summon him. If he were around, he'd come seeking you, boo-boo. I love the Beast, man. I love the way Jim Shooter writes the Beast. Stay back. Let me take him on first. Well, we're supposed to watch this fight. Who does he think he is? He is our leader, and now is not the time to challenge his rule. Trust me, Beast. I have some wisdom in this. For in my own land, I am king. We will strike when we are needed most. For what I hear, he's a lot faster than me. But as long as I'm quicker than he figures, I've got the edge. Everyone always expects an armored man to be ponderous. Got him square with a full power double repulsor zap. If I can keep hammering him, keep him reeling. No good. He recovered almost instantly. I've never faced anyone this strong. Got to evade those deadly laser beams. So the Beast jumps on his back. Now it's time for good beasties to come to the aid of their shell heads. Did I do good, Panth? None could do better, Beast. Strike hard. Every second we buy the others is precious. And Nefaria is like, away from me, buffoons. I seek Thor. You waste my time. Once again, just swats the Avengers away like nothing. And we haven't even seen the full power of Nefaria yet. Thor, if only he'd stage one of his mysterious last-minute arrivals now, as he is so often of late. In lieu of a miracle, I must hold Nefaria's attention while Cap and Yellowjacket circle around to strike from behind. You buried us under a building, Nefaria. Now the Scarlet Witch returns the favor. You waste your hex energy, my lovely. Would that your brother Quicksilver were here to see how his speed pales beside mine. Ha, he would seethe with impotent rage now as I strike you down, along with 2 more of his dear comrades. I was afraid of this. He's managed to waste 5 of us in 2 quick swoops. Fortunately, I managed to build up a full charge again in the meantime. So Iron Man slams down a big slag here as he's ramping up his armor's power. It's working. My strength is being amplified to an unbelievable level. Only seconds before it fades, though. Fall, blast you. No. I am the mightiest being on Earth. The Hulk might have something to say about that, but oh well. I will beat you, and soon I will crush Thor. I will make him surrender the secret of his immortality. So Iron Man's power, he can't sustain that power level, and Nefaria just swats him away. Iron Man almost did it. Nefaria was staggered for an instant. If I had struck just then, we might have beaten him, but I stood here watching, afraid. I failed Iron Man, failed the Avengers. This is something that they continually focus on with the character of Wonder Man. Marvel heroes in general, a lot of them are reluctant heroes, and definitely Wonder Man is one of those. Even though he's this being of enormous power and strength, he doesn't really fit in with being a superhero. Later on, he actually retires from the superhero business, retires from the Avengers, and becomes a Hollywood stuntman. So, for all my muscle, I'm not fit to polish an Avengers boots. Iron Man's down now, and it's up to me alone. Great. So he takes Nefaria by surprise here. He goes, Oaf, I am far stronger, faster than you. Doesn't matter. I have all the strength it should take. Power only counts for so much, Nefaria. I just figured that out. Could be I'm not man enough to take you. You can bet your cutesy cape that if I had the guts and savvy that any other Avenger has, you'd be pulped right now. Words. So here's a panel. It's a little bit confusing if you didn't know what was going on. We see Yellowjacket like hightailing it out of there. And I'm not sure if this panel actually depicts that, kind of is clear in depicting that. Captain America says, Wonder Man can't last much longer. Yellowjacket, and it seems like Yellowjacket is running out on the team there. Says, how fitting that a super hard body of a fallen Avenger should serve as a weapon which will smash another Avenger. And as you can see, Captain America gets slammed by Wonder Man's body there. It's over, finally. If the likes of these were that much trouble, perhaps I'd be wise to set a trap for Thor. I must be stronger than he, but why take chances? First I'll kill these heroes, then I'll seize that foppish butler of theirs for my bait. And out of nowhere, suddenly, lightning is zapping all around, and Nefaria says, my God. And we all know what that means. Thou hast dared much, villain. Now, this is one thing I like about the character of Thor in the old comic books, the way, they make him Shakespearean. This is how a true Norse Viking god would speak. I kind of wish they would have taken that same level of his speech patterns in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know that wouldn't come across to like a general audience that well, but that's one thing I really liked about Thor, the Thor comic books. And verily, thine hour of judgment hath come. I mean, who speaks like that? But I guess Thor does. And of course, Nefaria, Thor. I mean, he was seeking Thor, but now he's not so sure that he really wanted to find him. So that was the last panel. Thor shows up, and Nefaria was seeking Thor. Not so sure now that that was such a wise idea. So we'll have to see what the next issue brings. So it says next issue, the third and final chapter of the most fear-wrought saga ever. You dare not miss Day of the Godslayer. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Keep in mind, I'm just doing these off the top of my head. I haven't read these stories in over a decade, and just kind of having a fun look back at some of these classic storylines. So until next episode, I will see you guys later.